Weird.
A minute.
I hope we're live. Yes, we're live. Welcome back.
Yes.
I got Doomhand, Skulls of Power, episode 101. So, the group is going to roll for a recap, right?
I
Sure.
missed last time.
Yeah.
Skip.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, you can.
I got
let your
19.
creativity in
Are we rolling high or low?
a tie in the sky.
Oh, I forgot we're still in the sky.
I got an 18.
I also got an 18.
We should kiss.
Ooh. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah.
1-6.
I got a 19, so you guys are safe.
Oh, we're doing a Chris recap?
No, it's Booter.
A
Chris.
fully detailed Chris?
No.
Booter's coming in here.
Yeah. Come
I'm
on,
feeling
hot.
Sorry, for some reason all my tabs got closed.
Don't worry, you're going to be doing the recap. It's going to be spectacular.
Oh, don't worry. Booter will, just like last session, he'll get a net to do a recap.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Hey guys, check it out. I got a corgi.
Let's change it out.
Mine's cute.
What's the corgi's name?
What do we got for a name?
Bingo from Bluey.
Cute.
She looks exactly like.
Aw.
Yes.
Hi, so D20. I am rolling. I
Mog.
got 17.
All right. So, last time on Mammon, Skulls of Power, the party made their way into the Pale Skull Temple courtyard, having just crossed the bridge and seen the ceremony of the moon. We talked to one of the there and learned that if we needed more information about the skulls, we should talk to the high priest, Beta Webhook. Supposedly, we would know it's him because he would have a white skull on his head. He'd be somewhere in the temple. We entered the temple and found a room with 10 large statues, very large, 50-foot tall statues, and they had chains hanging from their hands. And there was this soft sobbing sound in the room. Booterbot looked at one of the statues and found the phrase, "Love binds even through pain." At the end of the hall, all these statues, there was a mural on the wall or the door with a big crack. As we began to move through the room, the statues would attack us as we got close or approached them. When we were kind to each other or helped each other, they would kneel. During their lashings, we did get a few benefits from being whipped these chains. At the end, we found a mural of two Loxodon going to embrace, and that crack broke right between them. So we recreated that embrace in the most direct way we could find, to the point of almost fully reenacting the scene on the door in a rather intense way. Then the door opened up. We walked into a large field, some black roses, and a pond with some water. In that pond, there's some red liquid and these stone tablets around it. On these stone, it says, we found a note that says, "Love endures through loss." And on these stones, they had the words joy, loss, pain, and renewal. We mended them together and then placed them in the pool or the offering space in the center, and they fell apart. Then a statue came to attack us, and we killed it. Then we finally went through to the final chamber. The skull shows us memories of betrayals that we've had in our lives. We have to describe an act of selfless love that we've had. When we do, a key appeared, and we know that the king is holding the skull in the tomb of Elrond, the pale skull that we're looking for.
Yes.
We leave the temple. We meet Mr. Webhook, Mr. High Priest Beta Webhook. They're arresting Ebenezer for littering, and tells us if there needs anything, he can send a message and we can come chat.
That's right.
And we find a chest that was being delivered to our ship, but they delivered it to us there in the square. In that chest of salt and blood, we open up and find the severed head of Ignis, lips sewn with blue thread, and a skywood toy.
So you guys had this box get dropped and delivered to you. Read the language remember when you opened it, and you had Zergo's head, which was sewn shut. Next to it
That
was yeah.
I
Huh?
thought it was Ignis's head.
Sorry, what did I say?
Oh, okay. Girl.
Yeah, Ignis's head. And her lips are sewn shut with a blue shiny thread. Beside her head is the toy that Zergo had with him. There's an elephant or Loxodon. He's just hanging out. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you know her?
Stag is crying on his knees.
Just so we're all in the same loop, this was Matt's character from right around the time that Adam, you joined the group. Ignis's head was shipped in a box to you guys.
And
Or
Stag,
maybe not. So we don't know exactly why.
but you can ask Stag why he's upset.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stag is just crying over the box.
So let's see. Booter.
I put my hand on his shoulder, like, just to comfort him a bit.
I finally got her to like me. That was so much work. Aw.
Matt, what are you doing right now with his boxes open? You see Stag.
What's going on here?
Give me
Stag, why are you so upset? It's just a head in a box.
It's her head. It's Ignis' head.
Her? Who are you talking about?
This beautiful, hairless, loving woman who, after so many months of rejection, finally saw some good in me. Gave me a chance.
Matt, as you out, you see this crate ahead, a baby toy. Give me a nature check.
6.
You see this dusty residue in the box. Some of it looks like it's on the top of the box. Not 100% sure what that could possibly be, but there's definitely not just dust or grime and dirt from travels. There's some sort of
I'm going to say I didn't know that this person mattered to you. I'm so sorry. And then I'm going to
You
climb
had
down.
her eyes mere moments ago. Your eyes turned to look like hers. Back in the statue.
That was her?
Yes.
I just said the person you loved. I didn't know we'd see her head in a box right now.
And the cigarettes, that was her.
Do you think we should smoke another cigarette to commemorate?
I can't make any more today.
I'll smoke it with you.
Adam.
Get her back to the boat.
Give yourself some inspiration, Adam. Hopefully. Who's carrying this thing?
Stag is going to attempt to, unless anyone helps him.
No,
I'm not that's kind of strong.
This guy's clearly
You're having a hard time.
As you go over this thing, what are you going to look in it? Are you going to grab it? How are you going to handle this?
I could do a perception check.
Give me a history or a
Sure.
religion, whatever is better for you.
I'll do history. 14.
You see the wording remember on it. Circuits are wired. You have a memory of this because of Ignis. You have flashbacks of the time with her, the blue skull, the flat world, dilemma in the Underdark, the gray mind flares, the blue mind flares, the round world. And you also remember Zergo being the last of the gray mind flares because you guys decided to take him from the past into the present, and that baby mind flare was the last gray flare that we know of that possibly survived invasion when the blue mind flares infiltrated this old 100-year-old. They went in a time heist. When they were in the village of Striad, the blue flares invaded. The gray flares and the gnomes had a symbiotic relationship, but the blue flares were more hostile. We know from the present that Striad had collapsed and the gray mind flare civilization had pretty much died out. They stole a baby gray mind flare and brought it to the present, which is what Ignis was holding on to while you guys went on your adventures. So all that history, Booterbot, you sort of remember. As you guys carry this, Matt, something radiates in your eye a little bit right before we close up the box, and you see that these stitchings are sort of glowing around her mouth. Give me an Arcana check.
16.
You see that radiating stitching on her mouth sort of reminds you, and you're well versed with mind flayers. You see that the psionic radiance of this thread gives it a peculiar mind flayery vibe to it.
I'm going to try and separate myself from Stag because he's visibly upset at this point, and I'm just going to take the other two aside and say, hey, is anything weird about this lady? I'm sensing something mind flare related. I'm just a little worried about it. Do you guys know this woman?
I'm going to keep my voice down so I don't upset Chris. But I'm going to say, there's something funny about the strings on her lips. What if we took them out?
I think we should, but I don't want to do it in front of Stag. One of us should distract him.
Hey, Stag. All right, I'm going to catch it. I'm going to do a distraction. I'm going to say, Stag, come here. You shouldn't look at this.
Look at what? Wait, what are you doing? No, stop. Don't.
No, what I'm saying, you shouldn't look at this. Don't keep looking at the head. It's just going to keep making you sad.
We aren't doing anything yet either. We're just casually holding the box.
I need to make sure she gets back safe.
We'll make sure. Wait,
No,
let's just take a breather over here.
I left her there and this happened. I have to see her.
I'm going to now physically take him, bear hug him, and say, no, you need a break.
I'm going to fight you on this.
25 strength was doing well.
I like where he's at it already. I'm just not to get too out of it, but I like where we're going.
Fuck. I got an 8.
25.
So he picks you up and manhandles.
This is your captain. We down.
And I'm going to say, Captain.
Hold on.
Now, as I do that, you guys should cut the string, see what happens.
I'm going to yell out, this is for your own good. And we're doing this for you, sir. And then I'm going to start cutting the stitches.
As you cut the stitches, something falls out of the mouth.
Stop.
You can't see what's happening.
From your,
He's telling me to stop.
Okay.
from you. Yeah.
Adam,
Oh,
I'm going to need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, God.
yeah.
I'm going to cast command on you.
Oh, now we're talking.
17.
He's so upset. His command didn't work. Matt, you cut this thread on these lips, and a little thing falls out of the mouth. It's almost like plastic. As you look at it, pick it up, it looks like an eyeball from a toy. Next to the head, you see this toy that had left, and its eyeball is missing.
I just see a toy and an eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know either of those. But can
It's
I
like a
see
stuffed animal.
Can Stag see me right now?
Not
No,
with being
not with
manhandled.
those. Not with those.
He's kicking and screaming, and I'm trying to tell him, we're trying to figure out why she's dead.
Matt is pushing into the ground. Relax. It'll be better. This is good for.
Is here in the little man? I'm gonna.
He's got him in a full Nelson.
If I can clearly see that Stag can't see me, I'm gonna do a little quick peek and I'm gonna whisper under my breath, "This is for your own good." I'm just gonna cut this bitch right off.
Wow, that's hilarious. The head just is normal head.
Normal head. Okay. He's
Okay.
mutilated it for no reason.
As you mutilate this head, Matt, the animal toy next to the head sort of collapses. And why don't you give me a medical roll on that as you do your head? Let's play that out.
21.
So you perfectly cut the head open. There seems to be nothing.
Very professional. For record.
But with that medical, you see that the animal doesn't seem right. You do know that there's an eyeball. For some reason, she might have put that. There didn't seem like there were any restraints on the muscular or lips or anything, other than the sewing, of course. But the mouth, when you cut it open, it looked like the item was hidden underneath the tongue as you did your autopsy. It looked like there was wear and tear on the inside underneath her tongue where she was keeping this plastic eyeball for some reason.
I'm going to pocket the eyeball and toy.
As you pick the toy up, you feel it, and it feels as if there's something in it.
What kind of feeling? Like an animal or like...
It's like a stuffed animal. As you grab it, you feel something inside of it.
All right. I don't want to destroy the stuffed animal. I'm going to see if I can figure out whatever is inside without destroying it. If I have to cut it,
I really hope
not.
Okay, so stuffed animal just explodes, fuzz everywhere. But out of this thing falls an envelope. On this envelope, there is a wax stamp, an arrow stamped into it, and a charred stub of one of Stag's cigarettes also put into the wax on the envelope.
Okay, I pocket this. I don't show Stag.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I don't want him to know it exists.
Yeah. All right. So that's where we are at the moment.
Oh, keep it hidden?
Let me go.
Okay. I guess I feel my grip.
I rush over and see the destroyed toy and the destroyed head. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why?
Poop.
What the hell? Why did
What'd
you
you
do
find?
this? It is her fucking head. Why did you destroy it? Sag will attempt to put things back and mend, trying to use mending to reattach the head together, but obviously fail.
I was worried there was a mind flare inside her head.
Are you
I mean-
insane?
I felt like if they thought something was weird about it, it was worth making sure something was wrong. I
How
thought maybe it
much-
could have been like
And I
a
looked,
tracking
sir,
device of some sort.
she was already dead.
What'd you find?
She wasn't
Nothing.
Nothing. I
here.
found an eyeball and a stuffed animal, but I kind of messed up the stuffed animal. You know what? And honestly, Stag, that one's on.
What eyeball? Where's the eyeball?
I hand him the eyeball.
What else did you find
Nothing.
as you dissected? Make me a wisdom saving throw. I'm going to command you.
You make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
I mean, we can roll. How does that work? Initiative?
You have to roll against his, and if you're going to do something, then he's got to roll against yours.
Wait, but who gets to go first? I feel like that's very
He's
important
going-
in this specific.
He called it first, so reaction.
You rolled a 13. I saw that.
Yeah.
So I passed that.
No, that was my wisdom. You
Fail
need
that.
to roll. So
Okay.
if I don't succeed, or as soon after you do,
I rolled a 27 on my wisdom.
okay, you succeed.
I just
Yeah.
told you to flee. Get out of here.
So the
Harrington runs.
Loxodon is going to come over and he's going to see that you guys are doing your thing. Did you gentlemen happen to know where this item has come from? This seems dark here.
Good looking. Ask the guy who's acting crazy, running away from us, right?
Watch.
Go chase
Cut
him
this-
down.
Just watched you cut this head open. My gosh. Good day to you, sirs. He says, there are some travelers around this area that I know that the fuzz is going to be extra cautious.
I don't want to waste the opportunity where he's running away. And I turn to Booter and I turn to my compatriots. I turn to Turian and I say, let's read this letter while he's fleeing. And I crack that bitch open and I say, let's look at this. And we see what's inside.
Well,
And I'm going to pretend to know how to read.
I'll take your word for it, if I'm being honest.
Zergo's letter written to you. You guys, through your
Wait, written to who?
written on this letter, said
Okay.
you take the stamp and the wax, making sure that no one else has this letter, and you open it. So you know this letter hasn't been read by anyone. It says Zergo is of the gray, the last of his kind. They will hunt him to unmake the truth he carries. He is the vessel of the skull. They do not yet see it. With him dies more than the bloodline, dies the round truth of the world.
Can I ask a question? I've just learned that my compatriots can't read.
Yeah.
Is there any indication? I thought you just said you couldn't read.
I'll put
No,
it
look at Turgan.
Yeah.
Okay. Can he see it?
Can he see that?
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
see.
looking at it, but I'm trying to pretend like I know what it's.
Butterbot perception check.
Can Buddha read it, or am I reading it and relaying it to them?
I can do a perception check if you want.
Sure, perception check.
I got 1 with +5, 6.
Butterbot cannot see.
Okay.
They're all
No, but-
read what you say.
Can I perception check or some sort of insight to see if I know this is mind flare related? Like, can I sense that with my skills?
Give me a history check.
13.
You remember through your studies of past mind flare happenings that there was a big uproar in the Underdark with the blue mind flares being round world oriented and the gray mind flares being flat world oriented. And you know that the mind flares operate with a mind hive. The elder brain is the main mind's eye for each being. For whatever reason, the gray cared about spreading the word that the world was flat, and the blue was spreading knowledge that the world was round.
So I'm going to turn,
From the letter, this is written all over the letter to you.
like, I can sense it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to turn to Buddha and Tyrion, and I'm going to say potentially something we don't want anything to do with. And I think we should keep our friend Stag away from there. This is people we either have to eradicate or leave alone. And the choice is yours. And I take the paper and I crumple it and I light it on fire.
Okay.
I'm down for a fight.
So the fuzz is not around at the moment. You are free to do what you need to do. You guys have just been given the knowledge that Zergo has been, well, you don't know anything yet.
I have that knowledge at this point.
Only you have that knowledge.
That keeps running.
Yeah, like it's still running.
That he would have stopped after the round turn and looked back and just kept running.
Where's he going?
Where are you guys headed now? What were you like?
What? I want to go after.
Yeah, we should probably get Dad. I just wanted him to leave for a minute. I didn't want him to go forever.
Where are you running to?
I think he's doing the Forrest Gump.
I was gonna say, just
Yeah, he's just going as far as he can right now to try and find a quiet place out of the way.
Okay. You run back up into the town. It's somewhat vacant. There's not a lot going on at the moment in the town. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to
I found-
find some off the beaten path door and just bust into a door and get away from everyone. Try and hide.
I send Falco after him to try and keep track of him as best.
You see as you're running, tears are streaming down your eyes. You run past an old apartment building, and it seems to be somewhat vacant inside. To you, it looks like a good place to hunker down and collect your thoughts, if that's what you
Perfect.
were trying to do.
He'll go there.
While you're inside, you open the door. It almost looks like the house is being worked on, but the workers are not there. Their tools are, but the workers aren't. Looks like they're out to lunch or maybe gathering other supplies. Other members, what are you guys doing? You going running after Stag?
We
I
track
mean,
him down, right?
What are your thoughts in there?
Stag is pissed and confused, upset, sad, trying to understand the loss of Ignis and these people who he trusted would destroy everything that he just found.
You remember that Ignis had the skulls, had the blue.
Had the blue skull, and that's what he thought might have been inside of her mouth with the sewing. I can't believe they would do that and hold him back while they mutilated her.
As you're there, you see pure sky dwarfs running around. The fuzz is coming now. Something has happened. Just think about fantasy cops. The town, we'll call it the fuzz. These are the same fuzz that get people in trouble. Like when the feather fell, you'll learn enough. And you hear the Aloxodon say, yes, a head was found on the temple steps. We're trying to figure out who did this, who would come to the sky town of Tuscanton to corpse. That's preposterous. Other members, you are running after Stag.
But we know where he is, right? We need to get this guy out of here and get to a place where we can regroup while he's chill.
There are locks. Stag is inside the house, and there are locks on searching for anyone that seems suspicious. They're going to come over to you as you're walking towards the house that Stag has buried himself in. They're going to say, "You, dwarf," to Adam, to Turkin. "Do you know the whereabouts of this preposterous head in a box? We know it was addressed to you, perhaps?" The Skullforce ninjas. "Do you have any idea? We've rounded up some suspects that we think are guilty."
I mean,
We must find out. We will always find out.
we want to know what you know too. We're confused. That was my friend's head. And we're trying to figure it out too. I'm trying to go comfort my other friend. Because he's just so upset. So if you mind, I gotta go.
He is going to roll a insight.
You get advantage, Spencer.
an insight check.
I'm gonna
Of
give
an
you advantage on
advantage.
this.
He wants to know if he believes you. You're trying to pass the fuzz as not guilty.
Where should I roll?
I guess it would be my insight check versus your persuasion.
Perception?
Persuasion.
Yeah.
What persuasion? Persuasion. Okay. Then the first -1. A 5.
I don't quite believe you. Perhaps we should take you in with us.
Have to fight me for it.
Loxodon.
No, I step up. My friends, let's calm down. We're all on edge. We just found a severed head. We don't know what's going on. We're just trying to find our friend. He seemed very upset. No need for some sort of battle. And then I turn around and I wink at Turgan.
Booterbot.
I'm going to immediately catch on what he's saying. I don't want to fight here.
Matt is going to roll an insight check on what you said now. Give me a persuasion.
15.
All right, that trumps his 6. Okay, stand down, group. These men are just nervous and it looks like they are a little bit out of their element because perhaps they knew who was there. We've rounded up.
Our friend may have. We're concerned and we would like to find him.
Well, just so you are aware, we've rounded up some suspects, and we are right now in the process of getting answers. Up on the deck, right over there, and he points to this massive ship. This is where we do our trials in the town to determine who is guilty and who is not. Very rarely, but in this case, it seems like this sort of death doesn't happen in the skies. We must find out who is responsible and end them. We cannot have this type of thing happening in Tuscanton. He says, we've rounded up Oxodon, a sky dwarf, a Ceramorph, and a Doomhand, one of the men who has been hunting these skulls and trying to gather information about the Pale Skull. Rumor is there's a madman on the loose trying to round up all the skulls. Taken him into custody, and we are right now trying to get the information as to who and why someone would.
Very good. In my experience, it's almost always the mind flare. So I just throwing that out there. Let us go find him.
The follower of Doomhand. Very few people know of our quest or our group's title. And that's what was addressed to us on the box. I think that's one of the biggest clues that we have. That it could be the follower of Doomhand.
I like this robot.
Well, Griffey, don't tell him.
I like this Warforce. Seems to be with it here. We'll just do theater of the mind. He's going to say, would you like to come and see who we have taken? Perhaps you guys can help determine who is the culprit here before you are on your way. And where's your friend? He needs to be questioned as well.
While you all are having that conversation, Stag probably would have heard you talking outside, and he would have cast invisibility on himself.
Wow.
And tried to sneak out a side door and continue running.
There's
Invisible.
one window, and it's standing next to a Loxodon.
Stealth.
A stealth.
I get advantage because I'm
Yeah.
invisible. Natural 20 for a 24.
Wow. Very easily, you go to wherever you wanted to go.
Can I file a perception check to see if I guess not against the
Not
natural
against
20,
the
right?
20. Yeah,
Fair
not
enough.
against- They're going to say, you gentlemen don't seem to be guilty, but just know that we have captured a couple people who we think are. We will get the information out of them one way or another. Carry on. And if anyone else stops you, just tell them that Sergeant Longsnout has given you the okay.
I appreciate that, sir. Do you have any trinket or formal thing we can carry to let people know that you have said that?
Here, take that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'll be sure to show this to anyone who gives us an issue.
Like a purpley slime spit. They're going to move on their way towards the larger ship where you can start hearing some screams. And that's where we are. What would you guys like to do?
I still want to find Stag.
Yeah. Chris, where are you headed?
He's going to run as far as he can, trying to get away from these people.
I turn to Turgan and Buddha and I say, do you know something that Stag might have on him? Like a physical object he may have on him?
His eye patch.
I'm going to cast Locate Object, and I'm going to see if I can locate him.
He is invisible.
Stag.
Find my iPhone. Find my Stag.
Yeah,
Find
find
my
Stag.
Stack can move 70 feet around.
Even it's 1,000 feet.
I know. Well, I'm going to see how far.
Fair enough.
He wants to get away from us.
I don't blame him.
14 rounds.
14 rounds? But we've moved also.
So that's minute and 45 seconds.
But you sat at
But
the bar for a
also-
chunk.
But also,
You were moving.
we're moving 60.
Yeah.
So that puts us pretty close behind.
You weren't running the whole time. You only just recently.
Yes. Well, we were
I don't know that,
together.
but-
No, I'm sorry, we were together
Okay.
at the building when you're talking to the cops.
Right.
So after he got out of there, he would have started booking it to get away.
You think that's 14 rounds?
I don't know how long the conversation was.
I would
Stag.
How much more time you're going to take?
I say we leave it up to the dice and we roll a
Okay.
d20, and that's how many rounds it is.
Stag, you run. You recognize on your left the entrance to the place where your ships are docked. You also recognize the wood shops and the areas you traded in the smiths where your stuff is being created. Not 100% sure that you had anything there being made,
I
but
don't
think
think
the
so.
the other guys definitely did. Now let's see. Group, you guys are going to be doing investigation checks. Stag is invisible. Matt, you have
I'm not doing an investigation check.
so
I'm casting a spell. I'm trying to find him specifically.
okay.
But that's what I'm saying. We need to determine whether Chris knows what I'm doing. So we need to figure out if he made it 1,000 feet away or not.
Let's see.
I think 1,000 feet linear.
Right. It's a 1,000
Yeah.
foot
But there's-
radius.
Right. So like there's buildings and shit everywhere that he's got to
I
run.
hear-
around.
I hear ya.
1,000.
I'm also down to leave it up to the dice. I'm
I rolled a 16.
16.
Yeah.
It's an
So
outrageous
that's
number.
so 16 times 60 is
16 times
about 1,000.
is 96. Move 70 feet.
60 feet.
I can move 70. I got 35 base speed.
All right, so
70
Matt,
times.
your spell,
Wait. Hold on.
your spell, you get a glimpse
But
of
we've
him.
been moving too. Have we moved
Yeah.
120
No,
feet
you
his
just
direction?
started. You haven't moved anywhere. You were like, "Where's Stag?" And you put the spell on it. You get like a ping. You got like a ping
Okay, wait, let
of
me ask you a
him
question.
headed by the bar, and then it disappears.
Fair enough. I get a ping, and I see that I don't see Stag when I get that ping. I'm going to immediately cast invisibility and start
There's
walking towards
things in
him.
the way.
I'm not saying I can see you. I'm just saying I feel like he's made himself invisible because I should have seen him, and I didn't. So let's go find him.
Direction. You don't get a picture of me.
An object?
Yeah.
I thought I could locate within 30 feet. I just
Yeah.
get a ping, a dot,
You get a sense of direction.
direction of its movement. Yeah, you're right.
As you guys are looking,
I'm not going to waste see invisibility then. I failed trying to find him, and I apologize to the group.
as you guys are getting, Chris, I put your character towards the town. As
Okay.
you guys are trying to figure out what your next move is, an alarm goes off. Now the fuzz is talking. It's not just here, it's everywhere. Listen up. One of the guards says, if you hear anything, just know, don't be afraid. It's the fuzz. You hear almost in the mind's eye someone saying to another, the child of the gray blood was proof the world is round. If he's gone, the round truth falters. It wasn't me. I wouldn't take this small child. Then it dies away. Give me an arcane check.
How's 29?
Is that your souped up?
Got
You
a
go
20.
all in? How do
Yep.
you
20 plus 9.
Wow. Okay, now you realize that the magic in this town, the trials that people take are somehow magically enunciated throughout the city. So you actually are hearing the trial as it takes place, even though you're not quite there. That was the first person. When you hear a whipping sound, make sure he's telling the truth as the character fades away from your mind's eye. Stag has ran. What are you guys doing? Trying to find him? Give me, if you guys
I
are
mean,
still,
we have no leads. We have no way of finding.
what's your character's background?
You had a direction.
They're gonna
Yeah,
find.
and then it went
Hey,
away.
You're like a
Yeah.
tracker person, aren't you?
I didn't know if we were counting.
Okay.
If we are, then I let people know and I say, let's move this way and try and find this guy.
Matt,
I'll start jogging ahead in that direction and just yelling out like, Stag, I'm sorry. I love you.
you guys are walking towards the bar that you were just at 2 sessions ago. Turgan, give me an investigation check.
Oh, there is a tracking.
Survival.
Yeah.
Give me a survival.
A 9.
A not
No, I have advantage on that.
nice.
11?
Chris, give me one thing that they would have noticed. You see teardrops. You see footsteps. Chris, what are your feet?
Hooves.
You see a hoof print. As you are looking down, you realize that the ground is made of wood. You'd see hoof prints running in the direction of Chris,
Of a temple.
of a temple.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
You see the hoof running in the direction of the shops, or the smith shops. These hoof prints are beer as they go further towards the smith shops and wood shops where you dropped your items off to get upgraded. They dry out and disappear. So you get an idea that Chris was headed in that general direction.
I relayed to them.
Yeah.
Hey, you went this way. Look. We see his tiny little footprints.
That's hilarious. Another temple. Chris. And you guys walk by your shop where you dropped off your shoulder pad and your boot for upgrade.
Like shield.
Yeah, a shield. The man inside's going to say, oh, hello, fancy seeing you. I hope you're not coming back. They're not quite done yet. But when your items will be your shield and your shoulder pad. Turgan, you dropped off you wanted that to be fiery. Your items will be dropped off before you leave, I promise, at the ports. Please come in and buy some stuff if you want. He's just heavy at work.
Yeah.
Are you still running?
He's running, and after probably 10 minutes, if he doesn't find some other random temple, he'll tuck into a corner and sit there for about an hour if no one finds him.
You are running in, let's just do this easy. Let's do
Bring up the map.
temple. Let's do residence. Let's do prison. And let's do,
Prison.
yeah. This place is like, with a stockade.
Okay.
And let's do
Because the temple can't be random by definition.
their
Like
You
it's
have the-
purposeful, no matter what.
yeah.
It could be random.
For sure. All right.
Agree.
Roll me up, Chris. You
A
got
D6.
you got temple, the residence lodge, the stockade or the prison, a trade port, a library, and also the palace.
I rolled a 5.
You find this small library, bookshop / library near the shops. You walk in, and there's a nice man standing there. An old man. Who goes there? The door opens, closes. You're still invisible. He says, these damn winds, the door always flies open. It's just talking to himself, like, fix the door.
I'll sneak into some storeroom that he might have.
The area is the room or the store, the bookstore, and in the back, just like a normal bookstore, pre-Barnes & Nobles. And in the back, there's probably more valuable storage and books in there.
This is before Barnes and Noble, though.
This
I
is
can
before-
jot down my notes.
Yeah. That's the way it looks. You know, it's a family store shop.
Like the cleaning closet or a closet where random shit is where I don't think he'll be for a while.
So the guys outside, you don't see any hoof prints. You don't see any sign of Stag. You see around you, there's the armory, the wood shops, library, bookstore, a fountain. In the distance, you see the ships. You're trying to find your friend who's crying.
Should we split up? Or should we stick together? Let's place question.
Party any more than it's already been splitting.
Especially with the fuzz running around, you never know. Something once for somebody to get swiped by the fuzz would be
Blast our way out.
Right.
Stag is going to cast Sending to Booterbot. Where's my spell? So Booterbot, in your head, you hear, give me some time. Give me some space. Why the fuck would he do that? What the fuck? Why? And that's it.
I turned to
You can answer and say up to 25 words.
I understand. Meet us back at the ship tomorrow.
Wow.
And then to Matt and Adam, Bob and Turgan, I'll turn to them and say, it's going to be like a needle in a haystack finding him in this town, especially if he's invisible. Do we want to just see if he turns up and go check out this trial that's going on? You might learn something.
The trial could be fun.
I'm getting a little tired of this.
I said we could just go take the ship, too. Aren't you a captain?
I don't think we're trying to guy behind. This guy's been with me from the
I thought
You
you were
adopted-
saying you wanted to leave him behind. I understand now.
No, I just don't think he's going to leave me behind. So I think if we meet him tomorrow somewhere,
He needs some space. Let him be.
you might
Yeah,
want to
that's
start thinking about a good explanation.
Me? You guys are, what are you looking at me for?
Well, prepare
We
your
did it to try to figure out what's.
It's a poor carpenter who blames his tools. We were all doing it together. I just had the knife.
Besides, what's he gonna do with a head?
I didn't know he loved this person. I didn't know he was going to speak out.
Well, now he has two heads.
I thought that there were ceremorphs in there or some sort of weird thing. I don't know what's going on.
You hear the voice of a sky dwarf, Turgan. You're familiar with dwarfs and the way they sound. We the crates to a lady named Ignis. But that pollen you accuse me of, this pollen, this dust, that's not from ours. Trust me, the dust, the pollen, that's from the cursed island. You're hearing the city people openly, and there's a magic in the town so everyone can hear what's happening. The pollen comes from the island of
Epstein.
Ebstone
Just
Island.
for the listeners, I didn't name that, but I do agree with its name.
I don't look at the transcript and see how that rolls out.
Not everyone there knew what was going on, but I was there. So I'm just throwing it out there. Some people just like beach vacations. I like the beach. If I go to Chris's hotel, I'm not all of a sudden a pedophile. I just like being on the beach. The same thing with Epstein Island. Don't even worry about it. Okay, let's.
The
a lot of explanation about something we didn't know.
nervous about what he has to say to say.
For reading a lot into my, I didn't know what was going on Epstein Island T-shirt, and I'd appreciate if you just back off.
Listen, viewers, it's Stone, not Epstein. We're getting a lot of hits here. Lone Loon says no. I'm going to say yes. Okay. Listen, the dice don't lie. That voice breaks away. You get the idea that someone is being interrogated. Turgan, you know it's a dwarf of some kind. Yeah.
So they're being publicly interrogated on this speaker system,
Yes.
but there is an area we can actually
And they
go
told you,
watch
they-
this, right?
yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say, hey, let's go check this out. I think we might be able to help these guys out.
Stag,
We'll learn something.
Stag, you also hear this stuff happening.
I'm taking notes on it.
Every time it happens, the old man in the library is whistling. To travel back to where you guys were, the large ship earlier is where the trial is happening. You walk back towards the temple. Instead of making a right, you make a left. There is a ladder and a large staircase that allows you to get up on top of this industrial ship that seems to be bound by force to the island itself. Older model ship, but quite massive. On this ship, you see it's heavily guarded by Loxodon, similarly to the police Loxodon with the soldier Loxodons that you've seen. And as you get towards the top area of the ship, you can see that some captives, and there's a very large elephant asking questions. Who did you come here? Welcome to the trial. This is free for observers. You guys are nestled in between dwarves and elephants alike. We're trying to get to the bottom of this. We don't permit crime of any reason in Tuscaton, especially ones that are not written in our rules. You see, Booterbot, give me a perception. Actually, that'd be a group perception.
Sure. I got a 13.
You see
A natural 20, if that matters.
So, high perception. You see that there's a dwarf that's been captured when he's being burned. You see that there is Oxodon being tortured and also burned. You see that there is a weird looking, almost being, he is being stretched by two Loxodon. His hands are bound, his legs are bound, he's being pulled apart. And then there's a Ceramorph. Matt, you see a Ceramorph.
23, if that helps.
You guys are all very aware of what's happening. And you see that there's a Ceramorph that is sort of chained up. Some sort of magic around this Ceramorph, keeping him in place and his magic condensed to his body, and it's not able to.
How big is Morph since we rolled
The
that?
humanoid?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it daytime?
Yeah.
Just wanted to clarify.
So they are being questioned. Now, without any further ado, I say we do the next. It was like, once we get the answers, gentlemen, you will be freed. But until then, we will continue our methods. You, undead, sir, what is your name? You despicable being. And the undead doesn't answer. The guy says, Rackamore. And you see the elephants pulling this guy apart. But he doesn't seem to be screaming. That's where your guys are at. How would you like to interact with this?
Can we see if we can communicate with him? Because he can communicate with us, but he'd have to initiate that.
Who would initiate?
Isn't there a mind flare being tortured?
Yes.
Yeah, but I can't telepathically communicate with him, only the other way around. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking at him and I'm like, hey, I know we've had our differences. I'm saying all this with my eyes. I'm trying to make it up to my captain. I feel like I've made a mistake and I could use some help. I'm happy to help you, though you don't seem like you actually need help, even though you're being tortured. And I say all that with my eyes.
Booterbot and Turgan, what are you trying to do here?
Information trying to observe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to observe right now. I don't want to jump in just yet and try to insert myself into their court proceedings.
I feel like there's more to do here.
Yeah, sorry, just to clarify, I am also not trying to interrupt any court proceedings. I don't want the fuzz after me.
No,
With your high perception check being held in place by some sort of magic, you see Loxodon being burned by prongs and stuff. The one in the middle, the large one asking all the questions, says, You, heresy, how dare you kill someone of a different race and bring him to Tuscadon? How dare you do this? Tell us everything. And he says, The child of the gray blood was the last hope of the round truth. That's what the scholars say. That's what's read in those books. His existence, his every breath, was proof the world turns. Remember this. Us Loxodons, we also believe that the world is round. The gray blood, if it were to be spilled, might be proof that it's something it's not. But I wasn't the one who killed him.
This guy knows a lot about the core issue for someone who wasn't involved in the crime.
History.
We should keep an eye on this guy.
The large soldier is going to now say, okay, very well. We all know that the dwarfs of the Sky Realm and the Loxodon are in a constant... Doesn't matter, your studies of the Underdark don't give you any advantage when it comes to trying to persuade us in whether or not you're guilty here. You might be well read, but we'll see what the others have to say. You better not be lying. You, Sky Dwarf, it's your turn. Tell us what you know. Tell us what you know now. And he says, hey, Adam's character says, we gave her crates. Ignis wanted a crate to be sent here. That's all I know. She was a beautiful lad, and we just sold her the crate. That was it. She was supposed to just drop something in and send it back, not this head. I don't know anything about it. The pollen, you say, the pollen in it wasn't from us. That proves us innocent. That dust's from the island. It's not from us. We just barter. We send things. We don't have nothing to do with murder. Thing. And they burn him again.
Let's go through all the suspects first. Keep going.
The Doomhand suspect. The Doomhand's agent, the undead fella being stretched. He sort of doesn't say anything, but then he opens his mouth and he says, you think needs me? You think he needs any of us? He seeks only the skulls. All of them. And Ignis kept that from him. From at least one. Nothing more for me to say.
He speaks the truth. Let him go.
Who was that?
I.
What do you know about this? What do you mean he speaks the truth?
I just feel it. Let me talk to him. Myself.
Move around, lads. Let this man through. They let you up onto the stage next to what looks like an undead being stretched.
I'm gonna crudely scribble the penis symbol and I'm gonna say, Fat, do you know what this is?
Does he know?
I feel like they're going to know what that is.
He's going to say, I do not know what that symbol is. Definitely not something that Doomhand has mentioned.
It's not Chimentos.
I just want to know what symbol means. Where's Doomhand?
Doomhand is looking for the skulls. You should know that.
Okay. When is the last time you've seen him?
Roll me a d6.
Okay.
Roll me a d4. I'm going to do forest, desert, city, and water. Roll me a d4.
Okay. No bonuses, right?
Yeah.
A 4.
We ran in. The last time I saw him, he was sailing the Sea of Undregon, looking for the blue skull. He went through the DeSantius door to the Underdark, looking for the blue skull, and he left his ship beached. That's where I was picked up.
He wasn't in the sky yet, was he?
He left us there standing for months, it seems like, waiting for his prince.
I have no use for you anymore. Last time we saw his ship was in the sky.
He'll be coming back for you. Trust me. He's the one. He seeks all the skulls, not just one. Ignis may have kept one, but she knows where it was and has probably told him. The Loxodon are going to roll a nat 20 and say, this man is telling the truth. Do you have any more questions? It seems like you are on a search and want more. If you don't want any more information from him, I'm going to rip him apart.
I have at it.
Yeah, no.
He whistles, and these elephants just rip this undead body apart. Booterbot, you see the Sky Dwarf being questioned and burned. He says to you, Oh, you look old, an old relic of the past. What brings you here? Why don't you question this guy? He points toward his Booterbot.
Sure. What's your name, sir?
My name is Adric.
Where are you from?
My name is Adric, and I am from the Northern Snows.
I figure when you're in the business of buying and selling crates, as you have said, you may or may not have an idea of what's in those crates or where they're going or who sold them to you. I feel like any of the things would be pretty useful right now. For instance, you mentioned you sold the crate to Ignis, but where did you get that crate from?
We drop these special crates. They're not meant to be opened by those who they're not meant to be opened by.
For Ignis.
We ran into her during our local drop-offs. We have a shipping company, and we drop off and we have these crates, and she seemed to want one of our larger, more powerful crates to get a message to whomever it was that she wanted to send something to.
Can you tell me the return address? That's great.
There is none. We left her in the Wander Mountains. We left her in... We left her...
Leave the crate on your front door with the delivery address, and it could be like a bomb or a weapon. You just deliver it anyway? You don't think that that's a little suspicious?
No, I just sold her the crate. I don't deliver it.
Did she have any indication of what she was going to use it for?
Transporting... She said some sort of special item or being to the group that she once was with, but that was it. That's all she said. I promise, I swear. And the elephants burn him a little bit more. Make sure he's telling the truth. You swear?
Can I roll to see if he's telling the truth? Like
Yes.
Investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Right, well, I got 19.
You beat his 6. He is telling the truth to you.
All right.
I don't know anything about the pollen. They keep asking me about the pollen. I know nothing about the pollen.
I believe you, sir. I turn to the elephants and say, believe him. Maybe just stop torturing him. You can keep him chained up for now.
Guys, these men have been doing a much better job than we have in getting answers. Let's bring him to the Mind Flayer captive over there, the Ceramorph. Bring those shackles over here. And they sort of, this gross-looking alien being towards you. It looks like he's part dwarf, part, like, you know, he looks like the captain in
Barbosa.
Barbosa, yeah. And Chris, you are hearing all of this, by the way. Everything
Yep.
that happens on the ship is being heard throughout the city for transparency purposes. They are trying to get this Mind Flayer to communicate, but it doesn't seem like it's working.
Do you want to interrogate the Mind Flayer, Bob, given that this is your specialty?
I take Buddha aside and I'm like, look, normally I would torture and kill this guy, but I feel like we need to find Stag and he's upset with me. And I feel like this person might help us do that, or at least get us some information that we can help Stag with. So I will say, sure. And I'll step up, but I'll also say, just separately, is Brock with us?
I don't think he's been here today, so I'm not going to stat.
Where are you at this point? You still there?
He's still in my closet.
All right. How do you get to communicate with the psionic shackles? They're going to say, well, there's only one way to do this. Let's start torturing him. They start whipping him. Tell us what you know of this. You guys are all one. We found one of you. You guys are all connected. You should be able to.
I'm just pacing back and forth behind the people whipping the Mind Flayer with authority. I'm not saying anything. I'm just, like I'm their supervisor all of a sudden. Because they were deferential. I'm going to act with a sense of authority.
He is being
I'm gonna let
whipped
them-
unmercifully to death here in front of you. Just let him have it.
I'm going to wait till, I'm going to let them have a few whacks so they know I'm not opposed to the torture. And then just say, okay, that's enough, authoritatively. I'm going to make them stop.
Okay.
They do that?
Yes, they stop.
Okay. Let's see if we can figure out what he knows. Does anyone know how to communicate with a mind flare? We must find more information out.
They can talk to you.
And I'm going to wink at the mind flare.
He's going to lock eyes with you.
Does he communicate with me? So
Oh, yeah.
I just wait. At that point, I say, okay, let's see if we can. Do you guys know anyone in town, a real city? You have a lot of people here. Someone must be able to communicate with Sky. I
Well,
think
why
we might
don't
wanna
you
go look
try
for someone?
What information are you trying to get? Let's
Get-
start there.
I guess any more information about what Ignis. Obviously, it's mind flare related. I feel like we've garnered enough to know that at this point. Do you know anything about what this random woman that our friend loves was trying to protect?
Now, how are you going to persuade him to give you that information? What are you going to do?
Question,
Right then?
when he links with me, can he read my thoughts? Do I still have to give him my thoughts?
No,
or-
you sort of just have to open up and let him. He can bridge into your mind and communicate with you.
My strategy is to let him see my hatred for mind flares first, my pure, unadulterated, passionate hatred, and then quickly what I just said about how we need his help because we're trying to find our friend and we need to know what he's looking for. I'm assuming that Stag is looking for the same information at this point.
So you're going to intimidate him into an answer?
Not at all. Not intimidation at all. Like more collaboration than intimidation.
So you're trying to persuasion check.
Natural 20.
Are you kidding me?
No.
He says the child is gray. You hear this voice in your mind. The child is gray. Last child.
Okay. Where can I find the child?
The mind flares abducted Zergo because of his gray heritage.
The other mind.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they?
They have stations everywhere in this world, in this realm.
If I can get you away from these men who are going to kill you, will you help us locate our friend Stag using your mind flare power?
Give me an insight check.
15.
You believe him when he says yes.
I'm going to turn to the guards and say, I think we need a private place to question this man. Let me and my compatriots take him. You continue interrogating other suspects, and we'll find a place we can talk to him and really get the truth out of him.
Travelers, since you have been so helpful here, I will give you the afternoon to get the information from this man, but I want him chained up. I don't want those psionic shackles removed. Remember, the Fuzz is always watching.
Okay.
Do not test us. One elephant is going to hand you the chain. You may take him to the square, but bring him back here immediately. We're watching.
Bring him back, don't worry. We want to figure out what's happening here.
Stag, you did not hear about the chains. That would not have been in
Right.
You guys have this ceremorph. There's an elephant walking not too far. There are a couple elephants walking not too far away from you guys to make sure that you're not fucking around. What are you trying to do now?
I turn to my friends and I say, I think we should find a private place and have this person locate Stag for us. And then go find Stag.
I thought we're trying to get to the bottom of if we sent this.
I think
if we had
we're
to-
there.
Sure.
But no, we can keep interrogating him. We can just ask the guy. We just saved him. And I say, he's been communicating with my mind. He says he'll help us.
Let's get him to pay off first.
Talk to him. He's right here.
Does it work if I'm a robot?
Yep.
Who killed Ignis?
The blue flag.
Intimidation?
No. We did.
Why?
They have the last one.
The gray mind flare speaking now. What makes him so special?
Seems to be that he is the last one. The last of the gray mind flayers of the Alpha colony. Once he's done, once he has been opened, and dissected, perhaps the real truth can be understood. The world may be flat, the world may be round. But this child is the key. She kept on saying, as you should know, as you guys are like pulling him off the ship. Are you guys pulling him towards the town? Where are you doing this?
We're
on
not
the ship?
pulling him. I see he's cooperating.
Yeah.
We're like wandering.
He's like, as you guys are walking the town with this guy, that while they were doing what they had to do with her, she whispered and almost begged for her life and for Zergo's. She kept on saying something about Zergo's not just the last of the Greys, but something special about this boy, something special inside of him. But she would not let us in to know. So we took her head.
Booter, you knew the Cygnus.
I wouldn't say I knew her as well as Stag did. I knew that Zergo was very important to her, and also that I just didn't realize Zergo had such importance to other people.
We gotta find Stag.
Yeah.
What should we do with this?
Are we going to bring the captain with us?
We should probably kill him.
You just saved his life, and now you want to kill him? You in front of everyone?
Well, they were about to kill him, so I don't think they're going to be too worried about it. We'll just say he attacked us, and we just wanted more information out of him. He is a Mind Flayer, and he's on somehow the more evil Mind Flayer team.
I feel like I don't typically care that much about Mind Flayers, but we told this guy that we were going to get information from him and then save his life, and we're just going to kill him anyway. So why don't we let Stag decide?
Oh, good. Great call. Let's find Stag, and he can decide.
In the meantime, let's handcuff him and put him
Well, he's
in storage
handcuffed.
or something.
Yeah, he's got Ionic.
Lock him
He's
up.
locked up.
Storage. Well, sure, but I don't know. I just think you can still move if you just.
We'll just take him with us. We'll go find Stag with him.
Let's cut over to Stag. Stag, you're in this library or bookstore.
So Stag is tucked inside of that closet, and the rest of the party is taking their Mind Flayer for a walk. Stag is going to pull out a little mirror, and I have to roll a d12. Hold on. Okay, and I'm just staring at this mirror for a little while. Oh my goodness. Eventually, I stop staring at this mirror. And then I'm going to shake my head and cast Scrying on baby Zergo.
Cool point, Chris.
What mirror did you look at?
My mirror of reflection.
Yeah.
And I'm using that as my spellcasting focus.
Okay.
So I need something to look into. And I'm using that as a focus when I cast my Scrying. So I can see and hear a particular creature I choose that is on the same plane of existence as we are. The target must make a wisdom saving throw, which is modified by how well you know the target and the sort of physical connection you have to it. It can fail the saving throw voluntarily if it wants to be observed. So I would say I'm familiar with them.
Yes.
So it'd be a -5 to his save. Bob,
He would
did
wanna be
give me the
observed.
eye. So I would have a possession from him.
He would want to be observed.
What, Zergo?
I would think so.
Yeah.
He would have a
he's
-9
terrified.
on a
It's a
DC
baby.
17.
So I got to beat.
You
Yes, I
got to
did
do a
see-
wisdom save for a
Yeah.
baby.
Okay.
Subtract 9 from your and beat a 17.
I rolled a 3. So
Yeah.
6. So,
So
0.
if he's on the same plane of existence as us, I would be able to see and hear him.
You can see and hear him. That's hilarious. I hate that you just did that.
That's why I say cool.
I use my 6th level spell slot for that. I'm not the one who died
What? Yeah.
the skull that
You
caused
could've-
this to happen.
Chris could have spared you guys 2 hours of role play if he had just done this. What are you going to say to Zergo?
No, I don't say anything. I just see where he is, hear what's happening around him. It's just like a camera watching him. So you tell me what I see and hear.
He is being kept in a large tube. It's a lot bigger than he is. He is still a young baby Mind Flayer. He is scared This is crazy. He is, however, very much in tune with his mind. So what do you see? You see through his eyes?
No, I'm like
You've
I assume a third person view, like a security camera watching him.
okay. His eyes are bright blue. Bright blue. And the skull in your pocket begins to vibrate just very subtly.
Oh.
That's what you get.
Okay. I can keep that up for 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Ascending to Zergo. If he's on the same plane, it goes through. I'm going to say to Zergo, this is Stag. I don't know where you are, but I will find you and free you soon. And he can respond if he wants.
Matt, you were Zergo's person. What would he say?
Great call. He would say, I'm terrified. What's going on? Where am I? What's happening? Please come help me. Where is Ignis? Oh my God. I need Ignis.
And
Stag, where are
Yeah.
you? Come help me. Save me.
And it cuts off.
after 25 words, it cuts off.
All right. So, group, you are pulling this guy with you. He seems to have eagerly given you some information that he was not giving the elephants. What are you doing now? You're pulling him towards your ship? Are you pulling him? Are you going to kill him?
I don't know. Booter, you take the lead here. I want to get rid of him, so
Oh,
we'd leave him tied up somewhere.
yeah. I feel like ruthlessly murdering someone is just bad karma.
We either got to free him or murder him. Anything in between is pointless.
What do you think, Turgan?
If you think it's the right idea, then let's do it.
Booter, you're man.
Why is it my call?
No, Booter, I'm saying.
I mean,
He does have secret mind flare powers. I'm going to turn to him and say, look, man, can you help us find our buddy Stag?
Sure.
So he sounds like the guy with the mustache from The Simpsons.
Yes, not bad.
I'm going to say the second we locate our friend Stag, I will let you go. You saw how much I hate mind flares, so you know how much that will pain me.
He's not going to be able to help you find Stag, but yeah, sure, I'll help you. I think he's this way. And he points
Well, I don't know. Do I believe?
points up. Yeah, let's do that. He tries to convince you with an 8.
What am I rolling?
You're rolling insight.
14.
You do not believe he's going to be helpful.
I chop his head off.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
if you want to, go for it. I don't think we're just wasting time.
Yeah, I agree. I keep pushing him in front of us, but I understand now that he won't help us find Stag. I don't kill him or anything.
As you push him,
We're just looking for Stag
Turgan.
at this point.
Turgan, give me a perception check. This will be the last one for this guy, I think.
Perception equals a 12.
This guy seems to have that dusty polleny shit all over his cloak. It looks like every time you touch him, you get a little bit of this. Maybe your nose gets a little bit congested. Some sort of weird dust. Yellowy, bluish green. Polleny dust.
Seeing
I know that dust.
All right, where are you guys going to head towards now trying to find Stag?
Do they?
You're no longer invisible because you broke your concentration. You're muted.
I'm going to say to my
Yeah, I'm not
friends,
invisible.
I can try and locate him again. It didn't work last time, but we've moved around a lot.
I think Basha.
Maybe.
I think for me, it's like if we bring this guy to Stag, it'll give him a sense of closure. Stag was going great.
That's true. And that might give Stag, especially now that we've seen the dust, that might give Stag some satisfaction, and it can be my apology. Plus, I love watching a mind flare get killed. I don't give a shit about that.
There you go.
All right, so I try and find Stag again. I'll see if it'll work this time.
You said it has to be
Within
linear.
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet in a radius. It's also a 10-minute thing, so we're not chasing him anymore. They walk around for 10 minutes and see if I can find him within that frame, and then whatever time's remaining, I can try and track the trail if he's standing still.
It doesn't have to be linear.
No, it's a circle
I don't know.
from where I am.
Where are you headed?
So he's not in the initial 1,000 feet. I'm just going to spend the next 10 minutes wandering the town and seeing if I can pick up his trail. I guess I'll take zigzag pattern to try and maximize efficiency. I'll walk up this main path.
Just so you know, Stag told me he would meet up with us tomorrow. Do we go back to the ship
That's fine.
and then sleep?
You take you
I didn't know if he would be okay. We can find him. Let's take this guy. I'll take first watch.
Okay, let's take this guy back to the ship. We'll stick him in the hold and sleep it off. I think we had a good day. We spent a lot of time trying to figure this out, doing some things.
Are you still in the bookstore?
Yeah, I'll still be in there.
The old man is going to say, "Oh, I'm just going to close up." He's going to open up his door. He's going to see you sitting there next to the brooms and the closets.
Staring at a mirror.
He's going to say, "Son, what are you doing here?"
I got some really bad news and just need a place to be alone for a moment.
He's going to pull out a handkerchief with his nose, hand it to you.
No,
Continue,
he'll
Miss. Tell me.
the love of my life. Her head was just delivered in a box.
Terrible.
And then I saw people who I thought were friends mutilate her head as they held me away.
You sure
I don't know
that's
what
what,
to do.
are you sure that's what happened?
It's what I remember.
Listen to me, son. Wanderer. No soul was ever forged to walk the world alone. The threads of fate are woven strongest in the company of others. Enemies, return to your circle. In fire, your spirit will remember its shape, and in their shadows, you will find the path the good lords have set before you. Now, go back to the group you came with. I'm sure they can explain. Don't be so weak.
All right. Loxodon were wise. You just didn't know you were this wise. Thank you for your kindness. I'll hand him back the nasty used handkerchief.
And he's going to say, take this. This will cheer you up. He hands you Ways to Use Your Nose, a comic book or joke book. The group is back at the ship. This took a lot longer than I had anticipated. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Matt.
The group is waiting at the ship. When you get to the ship, you get your items. There is a crate waiting for you with your items. I will send you the item information for next week as requested. Turgan, you get your shoulder hit +1, and you get some sort of, I have to look back exactly what you wanted, but your shoulder is going to have a +1 to the damage, but it's also going to have a 1d4 special type of damage added to it. So it'll be like either +1 with a force damage or fire damage or whatever. But that's not going to be in your control. It'll be random every time you use it.
With the dragon tooth, right?
Yes, the dragon tooths. So that's what that is. You also get you wanted that to have fire on it. So you'll get a plus fire damage with that. Booterbot, your dragon blood in a Warforged. We don't know about that yet because you haven't decided whether or not you want to do that, but you get a shield. Now remind me what you wanted your shield to have, unless I have it here. Dawn's Fire Axe, Dragon Force shield. You wanted a force shield. So, what's it called?
Yeah, I used a leader of the ancient Amethyst Dragon Blood, which is a force dragon. You can get back to me on what that means if you need that.
Yeah. Okay. So a force shield. And everyone will be able to take their long rest. We're going to end at some point soon.
After
Yeah.
Stag leaves that bookshop, he's going to slowly wander the city. In the first place where he can get alcohol, he's going to just start getting hammered and drink all night before showing back up at the ship in the morning.
All right.
So I'll take that level of exhaustion.
Okay.
Drunk.
All right. I think we'll call it. Tonight's session was a little bit slow. I had originally anticipated you guys joining the thing, having this happen quickly, and going on to your next adventure. We left it open. Things left to figure out, but we'll wait for next time when you guys get to talking about what each person has seen. It'll open up. Just remember, over the last 2 sessions, the White Skull side quest is open, and I'll send this to the group chat. The White Skull, the Black Skull, the Gray Skull, and pretty much all of them are open. From last session, Adam, you weren't there. That was a heavy fight session. Well, it was a puzzle and fight session. Booterbot got transported to another plane by the dark that he was fighting, and he saw Aranis with the red skull. So you guys sort of know where all the skulls are at least. The blue one is sort of still up in question. Something tells me you'll figure that out next time. But until then, roll high and subscribe. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Next week, we'll have a lot more fighting. I'm going to make it so that each way is some action.